I'm going to walk you through the best decisions I've made in my life to date, okay? From playing at a Division I college football program to starting my business to going from overweight, broke, depressed to where I am now, business owner, in shape, accomplishing my dreams, okay? These are the 10 biggest decisions, the most impactful and best decisions I've made throughout my entire life, my whole life so far, that have made the greatest impact, okay, in my own personal, mental, physical, spiritual success, and hopefully they can help provide some value to you as well. So I'm going to walk through them, okay? Number one, playing football, okay? When I was in third grade, I was super overweight and fat, and the decision that I made, right, we moved to a new city where I live now in third grade, and when I was in third grade, I was super overweight, and I told my mom I wanted to play football, and I joined a flag football team, and I wanted to play running back. I saw people play running back. I was like, I want to play running back, and I was put at center, and it made me upset because I cried to my mom at third grade. I was like, I don't want to play center, like I want to play running back. And she said, well, like you have to do the work. Like they're not just going to put you there. What do you have to do? You have to be better. So she gave me, and this is the next best decision I ever made in my life, she gave me her Shaun T25 workout CDs, and she told me to get in shape, right? And I, as a third grader, I was waking up before school and doing online CD workouts, okay? And this was huge in like my early development of like hard work and discipline. And you know what I mean? When I was in third grade, I got in amazing shape. I was fit. And then the next year I got to play running back and was like one of the best players on the team. And then transitioned into fifth grade, me meeting kid at school who went to a place where he did like sports workouts, and it was at this facility that I met my strength coach in fifth grade, and I worked with this strength coach literally from fifth grade to freshman year of college, right? Like I went from doing CD workouts in third grade to like doing more kind of workouts and a lot of like online workouts. My mom's laptop. Like my mom's laptop, I was doing like online workouts in fourth grade. And then fifth grade, I, met this coach, and I worked with this coach for, for literally 10 years of my life, and I met all my NFL mentors that play in the NFL, all the most impactful people in my whole life that led me to playing football. Okay, like playing high school football, I became one of the best players like at my school and in the history of my school, and went on to play college football. And like I met my NFL mentor in 7-on-7, which led me to my third best decision in my life I made, which was getting baptized. So like I went from meeting my strength coach, like literally changing my life, like working out all the time, falling in love with strength and conditioning and the programming and athletes and nutrition, and loving it, absolutely loving it, high school football. And then I met my mentor that was one of my 7-on-7 football, which is like travel football in the summer, like on off season. But my coach from there was an ex-NFL all-pro player, and he got me into, really made me a little bit more cognizant of religion. Like I went to Catholic high school, but like meeting this guy and like listening to his story about how like he was in the NFL and he had millions, and then he was brought to his knees and he found Jesus Christ and got baptized and was reborn, and his life's so amazing now. He was actually one of the main inspirations for me to get baptized, along with like learning in religion class at school about like Jesus and his mission. And I made the decision to get baptized at 17 years old, my junior year of high school, midway through the season. And the way that I felt, it changed the trajectory of my life, because the second that I, committed my life and said, do you accept Jesus Christ, like as your Lord and Savior? And I said, yes, like I do, like I do. And went down, came up from the water, and it changed my whole life of the way I felt. Like the love that I had for everyone around me and myself, and feeling that, I was like, yeah, like it changed the trajectory of the way that I operate day to day, and it was the best decision because my faith has been massive in my own development, especially as a coach and a business owner, because it's easy to get caught up in, business and money and all this stuff, but really leaning on my faith makes me understand really what this is all about, which is helping people get in shape. Like it's helping people experience what I've gotten from fitness, which is the confidence, the energy, the life-changing experience of being able to control your own body, which is huge. Now, next best decision, after getting baptized, I finished out high school football, and then I committed to go play at Mercy Christian University. They're a Division I program. The year that I played, they were not Division I. The year, like literally, I played in 2023 season, 2024 season, they were Division I. So like I played the last year, they were a Division II program. But I still say I played D1. Who cares? If you were me, you would too. Shut up. But anyway, I actually, after my freshman season, the end of my high school career it's at Wheeling Central in Wheeling, and then the start of my freshman year in college, I really started looking at the idea of like, okay, what do I want? Like business, like there's business out here. There's like, what do I want in terms of like long term, right? Because my whole life from the second I was in fifth grade, I was like NFL. I'm gonna go play in the NFL. I'm gonna play pro football. But then the more and more I started to look at this, I'm like, okay, well this is getting closer. This is 4 years from now. I need to be playing in the NFL. I need to be playing pro football. And, after my freshman season, touring around a little bit with the idea of doing some fitness coaching, because I'm like, I want to like be in business. Like I like business. I want to succeed in this. And, after playing my freshman season and speaking with a lot of the players there, it really just dawned on me that the level of effort I had to put in. I'm not a big person. I'm 5'6", 165. Like, I'm not a big person. The level of effort I had to put in my whole life, from fifth grade, running routes and working out every single day before school and studying hours and hours of film, like the amount of effort I had to put in towards football to become the player I was, if I put that into business, I would become the best at fitness. So for me, when I looked at the trajectory of my life, I'm like, I could go play in the NFL, but I probably wouldn't sign any type of Mahomes contract or any crazy contract. I would end up being probably similar to the NFL guys that I knew. Really the closest NFL guy I knew was C.J. Goodwin, and he was like, kind of like a bench warmer. But I mean, he played. I mean, he was like a 12-year player, but I knew it would probably been something like that, best case scenario. And for me, I didn't really want to go play in the Europe League. I'm like, you know what? Like, this is probably only even like a next 6 to 7 year thing after college, because then after football, like, what are you going to do? So for me, at least what I decided is that my effort would be better served pursuing business. And maybe that was going to be, I started working out because I'm like, strength and conditioning is what I want to do. I never really had the idea of pursuing like general fitness, what I'm doing now, but I was like, I could do strength coaching. I could do like an athlete business, like the business that I grew up in with a strength coach. I could do that, but I didn't really know what I want to do. But I'm like, I just know that NFL is really not the path that I want to pursue with my life. I just don't think it's going to give me the better return long term, right? Because I know business is forever, and like NFL, there's going to be a ACL. I'm like, at the end of the day, I was already having neck problems. And I was like, you know what? I don't think it's the best use of my energy and my mental effort to pursue the NFL anymore. So I decided to move back home to Wheeling. And here's the thing too, like, even as a, player with scholarship money, I was paying a lot of money because, especially when I went there, Division I programs can give full rides, some can, but especially for me, I was like partial scholarship, but it was expensive as private school, so I was paying a lot of money, not even me personally, but like my parents. I was like, you know what, it doesn't make sense, especially if I'm not going to try to pursue the NFL. It makes more sense to move home, and like maybe I'll play at the school that I transferred back to, West Liberty, but then I ended up not playing. So you know what, like, do I want to do this? No, it's just a waste of my time. Like, I got what I needed from football. I need to focus on what I want to do with my career, okay? So the next biggest impact in my life that I really had, I would say, is starting my fitness business, okay? Now, the thing here is I'd already kind of messed around with business and a couple different, like, things. But for me, actually, like, truly starting to, like, coach people and pursue trying to make content and pursue business was, for me, probably the biggest catalyst, at least to where I am now, because it was like it really shifted my perspective. Like, okay, I'm in school, but like, what do I want to do? Like, thinking about fitness and business, and like, okay, how do I actually like build a product people want? Like, what do I need to do here? So starting that was like massively pivotal. But I went through a period when I moved back where I wasn't playing sports anymore. I wasn't really like eating the best, and I went through a period, okay, where I was with this girlfriend at the time as well, and I gained like 60 pounds. Okay, I was with this girlfriend at the time. I was listening to my parents who were like, what are you gonna do with your life? Fitness isn't sustainable. You're not gonna make any money. And I was led down the path of deciding that I didn't want to be in fitness. Well, I didn't actually decide that. I was convinced into thinking that fitness isn't good and you got to do something that's like good, because my dad's a doctor, and I was convinced by my girlfriend and her parents and my parents that like you need to do law school. So I was like on track to go to law school, and I changed my major and I gained 60 pounds, and it really led me to probably one of the most depressed, darkest places I've ever been in my life, which was I knew I wanted to have a business, but I didn't know how the hell I was going to do it. I wanted to be in fitness, but nobody else in my life wanted me to do this. This is the only thing in my life that I was good at. The only thing I'd ever had any success with was sports and fitness, and now everyone in my life telling me it's stupid, I shouldn't do that, and it's all I want to do, and I had no clue, okay? And it led me to this point where I was like, you know what? The only reason I was ever successful in anything in football is because I didn't listen to my parents. If I listened to anybody else, they'd be like, oh, the NFL is stupid. I'm like, no, I'm going to go. So that delusion was why I was so successful as football, and listening to people, okay, this is the next best decision I made, listening to anybody and having anybody in my environment that's not where I want to be, is not conducive to where I want to be, because I know where I want to be. I want to be amazing, I want to be successful, I want to be the best. And I wasn't going to be the best lawyer. And there was a period of time where I was like working at a law firm, interning, paralegal, overweight, depressed. I was like, this is not going to be my life. And it was at this moment where I went through like a radical shift. And it was like the next 4 decisions I made in a period of like 2 months changed my life, okay? First decision was breaking up with the girlfriend I was with at the time. I broke up with this girlfriend because I was madly in love with this girl. It was the most in love I've ever been with anybody. But I decided that, you know, this person that I was with, great person. I really was happy with her. But I knew the trajectory I wanted to take with my life, we didn't really align with what we at least wanted at the time. And I knew like I needed to be a business owner. I needed to commit like a decade of my life. I needed to just grind. And, you know, she just wanted like more of a family immediately. Not saying I don't want that, but she wanted like that immediately. She wanted to graduate, get a family, get a house. Like, and I just didn't want that at this stage of my life. And I decided it was best to break up with her because she didn't see the vision. She's like, well, you don't need to work for somebody. Why do you have to be your own boss? I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't blame you for thinking like that, but I know it's not going to work out eventually, so I'm going to cut it off now. So I broke up with that girlfriend at the time. I completely and utterly stopped listening to any advice that anybody who isn't where I want to be in my life is giving me, okay? So I changed my major back to exercise physiology. I moved out of my house to a place up at the college I was going to, and I switched my major back to exercise science, and I said, I'm going all in on my fitness coaching business. And the key thing that gave me that confidence, okay, to go all in on my business, all right, is I had a client named Trey. And you can see in the description, Trey changed his life 42 pounds in the description. I was working with Trey, and then I broke up with this girlfriend, and I was like, you know, I'm going to figure this out. And it was when I moved up to this place that my friend texted me. It was my first transformation. He was like, dude, like, you changed my whole life, losing this weight. I got my old confidence back. Like, you literally changed my entire life. And I was like, whoa. Hearing that I changed and impacted the soul and the trajectory of another man's life due to my own knowledge and my ability to help them with something that I, you know what I mean, had done, changed my life. And here's a caveat as well. Also, when I broke up with this girlfriend and I you know, moved out of the place that I was living in my parents' house, and I, you know, decided to go all in my fitness business, it was also during this time that I lost 61 pounds and completely went from the worst shape of my life to absolutely bone-shredded, six-pack, best shape of my life. So it was like all in a span of literally 5 months. I broke up with my girlfriend, moved out, went all in on my business, lost 61 pounds, and for the first time heard from another man, you changed my life. And it was like, boom, catapult trajectory, all in the span of a few months. And what it taught me, at least for my faith, was, you know, every little thing you're going to go through is a test. You know what I mean? If I wanted to have the ability to be focused on my business, I had to get drawn away from my purpose, wanting to go to law school, to teach me that you can only be the best at one thing. If I was not 5'6", right, and I would have actually been more successful with football, go play at Ohio State or Alabama, I would never have went all in on my business, and I never wouldn't be able to impact these lives. So God had to teach me the hard work that I had to put in through football to give me that hard work with another vehicle that he had planned for my life. If I would have never gained weight and become depressed and unhappy with my situation, it would have never forced me to lose weight, which helps me understand the exact person that I help right now, but I never had all those hard conversations and had the trials and tribulations and the heartbreak and the disappointment and the rejection of my family and my parents, then I would have never had to understood what it really takes to succeed in business, and I would never had to face those lessons, and at a later point, I might have been shaken from my purpose and my mission with my life. And, in all these things, it's like all the traits we desire in life come at the expense of the opposite end of these. And sometimes you might think of it as the worst time in your life. And for me, it was. But having to go through that and get over that and become who I am today has given me such an unshakable and absolutely, completely unbreakable confidence and unshakable conviction in the man that looks himself in the mirror today. I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly the trajectory of my life. I know exactly how I'm going to get there. And I have a deep-rooted purpose and mission in who I want to help, why, and I have a strong moral character in a rule, in a list of rules that I follow for my life prescribed by God himself. And you can't fucking shake that. You can't. There's nobody who can look at me and tell me, like, I don't care. I don't care. You can't, unless the laws of physics prevent it, I will achieve it. I will become the best. I will serve my clients at a higher level. I will provide the best program. I will be the best. No doubt about it. Last piece, okay? When I moved to my new apartment, I went all in my business. I started we're gonna help people lose weight. We're gonna help people general fitness. The last biggest impact in my life. Okay, so far we have playing football, getting into fitness, getting baptized, not pursuing the NFL, quitting football, breaking up with my girlfriend, stop listening to people who don't want to be like, aka my parents, going in all in fitness coaching, starting my business, and moving to my own place. The last and the 10th best decision I've ever made in my life was hiring mentors and coaches to help me with my business with my own money. So I've already, and here's the thing why I am such a fan of coaching, why I am a coach, and why I am a fan of mentorship is, if you actually look at my life, the things that impacted me the most, my mom was my first fitness mentor. It's like because of somebody in my life that I had that helped me, I got into fitness. I was able to be the best I could at football because my second mentor I knew, which my parents, blessed me with being able to help out. And that person taught me pretty much everything that I had known from an early age, and so much of my lessons of, fitness and strength and conditioning and hard work and football. And then I met my other mentor via football, which taught me about Christian and religion. And then going to high school, I met my high school football coach, who was one of the most impactful people of my whole life. And then I met all my other coaches through all my other trainers and all the trainers and coaches and skills coaches that I met through football. And then going and paying for college, paying for education, strength and conditioning education, exercise physiology education, and my college football coaches, and meeting them, and then talking to my other mentors. And then going back home. Okay, and actually, via working at that paralegal, I was under another mentor who was one of the most successful lawyers in my area, and even though I didn't pursue that, having that mentor and meeting him, in understanding this, okay, I understand the value of having people around you who are where you want to be, whether it was NFL people, I understood this. In working out with people in high school, I understood this. So for me, when I started, getting clients, the money that I was making, I started paying mentors and coaches to help me, okay? To help me build a great program, to help me understand how to make good content, to understand, the systems behind fitness coaching, right? I know I'm a good coach, but how do I actually take my knowledge and put it into a program and a structure that gets people great results? And it's that combination of paying other people, but also the trial and error of myself and going and helping people and building a great program, investing into myself and mentors and coaches, it was absolutely the most impactful thing. So that's probably the best 10 decisions I made in my life, and I'm sure there's going to be some other pivotal decisions that I make here within the next couple of years, and you're going to be able to see and understand the journey as well. But hopefully that this can provide some value to you in terms of, like, what you might have to go through in order to get to a place where you're really, confident and certain in where you want to be. And usually what you have to go through is struggle and pain. Okay, and that's, at least for me, the program that I run is really just help being that mentor and that coach for men who are maybe in a position that I was, where you're overweight, you look down at your stomach, and your stomach's hanging over farther than your dick, and you have love handles, and you have fat on your face, and sex with your girlfriend or your wife is getting hard, and your clothes are getting tighter, and you just don't have as much energy, and you're letting yourself go, you might be facing long-term health risks, you're not able to play with your kids as much, and you're in a position where you're really unhappy with where you're at physically, and it's affecting your mental health, and a change needs to happen, okay? And you're not in it for a quick fix. Maybe you struggled with your weight in the past. Maybe you've done Ozempic. Maybe you've done GLP-1. Maybe you've done keto. Maybe you've done Weight Watchers. Maybe you've gone to the gym. Maybe you've been in shape before. But at least right now you're not. And you're struggling with work, with kids, with your busy life. If you had no responsibilities, of course you could get in shape. But you're struggling with the demands of being a successful, ambitious man, being in shape. Okay, and that's the program that I run. So if you're maybe wanting some help with that, I would be absolutely honored to see if I might be able to help you out and serve you, just like I've served over 100 men at this point. And if you're maybe wanting some more information about what that program entails, you can click the link below to apply, and I'll personally reach out and offer you some advice and some information about the program to see if I can help. Okay, hopefully this video is valuable for you. Have an amazing day. Let's get it.